Hi everyone! Today we're going to talk about how humanism as a learning theory and philosophy. Our focus is on how humanism view learners not just as students, but as whole individuals. Humanism is a philosophy that focuses on the whole person. It assumes that learners do best when they feel safe, respected, and valued. Unlike some other theories, humanism sees students as active participants in their learning, not passive receivers. It also emphasizes intrinsic motivation, meaning students naturally want to learn and grow. Overall, it takes a holistic approach, recognizing that learning involves not just cognition, but also emotional, social, and even spiritual development. Humanism developed partly as a response to behavioralism and psychoanalysis. Behavioralism focuses on conditioning, while psychoanalysis often assume people are driven by unconscious struggles. In contrast, humanism offers a more optimistic and self-directed view of human nature. It believes learners have ability to make choice, grow, and reach their full potential, rather than being controlled by external forces. There are five key principles in humanism. First, every learner has inherent worth and dignity. Second, learning supports personal growth and self fulfillment. Third, learners should develop responsibility and self direction. Fourth, a supportive, nurturing environment is essential. And finally, learning connects the cognitive, emotional, social aspect of a person. Together, these principles emphasize that learning is deeply personal and meaningful. In practice, humanistic learning design gives students choice and autonomy. Students are not just learning content, they are also connecting learning to their identity, experiences, and relationships. So instead of just asking, "Did you learn this?" we also ask, "Did this matter to you?" Two major contributors to humanism are Abraham Maslow and Carl Rogers. Maslow is known for the hierarchy of needs, which explain how basic needs must be met before higher level learning can happen. Carl Rogers introduced a client-centered approach, focused on empathy, trust, and importance of relationships. Both emphasized understanding the whole person, not just behavior or performance. Maslow's hierarchy of needs show that learning depends on meeting different levels of needs. At the base are physiological needs, like rest and comfort. Then comes safety, followed by belonging and relationships. Next are instinct needs, such as confidence and recognition. At the top is self-actualization, where learners reach their full potential. In education, this means we can't expect deep learning if basic needs are not met first. So in learning design, Maslow theory reminds us to first ask, do students feel safe? Do they feel included? Do they feel confident enough to participate? If not, learning won't be effective. So educators should design environments that support comfort, connections, and confidence before pushing for academic performance. Carl Rogers focused on relationships and emotional support in learning. He introduced ideas like unconditional positive regards, meaning students are valued even when they struggle. He also emphasized empathy, active listening, and student autonomy. In this approach, teachers are not just instructors, they are facilitators who build trust and support growth. Humanism changes how we think about instructions, learning, teaching, and training. It shifts from a system focusing on compliance and content delivery to one focused on meaning, growth, and personal relevance. For example, in instruction, students might choose their own essay topic based on their personal experience. In learning, younger students may choose books that interest them instead of all reading the same material. In teaching, Instructors guide thinking rather than just delivering answers. And in training, learners reflect on real life situations instead of just completing required modules. Overall, learning becomes more personal and meaningful. In the design process, humanism starts with learner needs first. Before design content, we often ask, do students feel safe, include, and confident? At the same time, we design goals that goes beyond the content, include self-awareness, reflection, and real-life application. So learning is not just about knowledge, but also about growth and identity. Humanism emphasizes three key design elements. First, active and reflective learning. Students discuss, reflect, and connect ideas to their lives. Second, a supportive learning environment built on trust, empathy, and respect. Third, autonomy and self-direction, where students have choices to take ownership of their learning. These elements make learning more engaging and meaningful. There are also important design considerations. We need to balance structure and flexibility. Learning should address both emotions and cognition. Reflections must be intentionally designed, not assumed. The instructors play a critical role, and not all content fits this approach. Some areas still require structure and repetitions. Humanism has many advantages. It promotes intrinsic motivation, supports identity development, and encourages creativity and critical thinking. It also leads to deeper, long-term learning. However, it also has challenges. It can be difficult to standardize, time-consuming, and hard to measure. It also requires strong teaching skills and may conflict with standard testing. In conclusion, humanism reminds us that learning is not just about content, it's about people. By focusing on the whole learner, we can create a more meaningful, engaging, and lasting learning experience. Thank you.